Right now, my brain is consumed with music programs. Currently at my school, we are rehearsing an MTI musical after school with second through fifth graders. That's been a lot of fun. But at the same time as I'm going through all those rehearsals, I'm also starting to plan out 4 different grade level programs for next semester, second, third, fourth, and fifth grade. So my brain is just swirling around with repertoire and ideas and books. And honestly, I'm being really non-committal about all of it right now. Hi, if we haven't met yet, my name is Erin. I'm a K-5 elementary music teacher in Northern Indiana, and I'm also the teacher author behind From Do Re Mi to You. And in this video, I wanted to talk about how we plan music programs, because here's the thing, they can be a lot of fun. We know the benefits of having kids perform. And in some ways, program planning can make lesson planning easier because you have a clear set of repertoire to focus on. But music programs can also bring a lot of extra stress because of all the behind the scenes details that need attention. So in this video, I'm going to share the 5 W's of planning elementary music programs. So hopefully there is a little bit less stress and you can have more fun with your students and focus on making beautiful music with your students. Now, the first W is the why behind elementary music performances. And I know for some of you, programs may be required by your school or district whether you want to do them or not. And in other cases, they're completely optional. But regardless, as musicians, we know the benefits of performances. We know that it helps build musicianship in our students, it helps build their confidence, and it's good for our parents and our audience because we can leave an impression on them, inspire them, and we also get to show our audience what we are learning in the music classroom. I like to say it's really only the arts where our tests are public for everyone to see, whether it's a dance recital, an art gallery, or a music performance. All right, the second, third, and fourth W are the who, when, and where. And these are all interdependent on each other. Now, I'm going to say this right now. I'm recording this in the middle of October. If you have not set your dates for your music programs this school year, you need to do that like yesterday. But if you've already set your dates for this year, or if you're planning for next year, you need to think about dates and you need to think about who is going to perform and where. So here are just some of the things that you may need to think about. Number 1, how many kids can fit in your performance space? That's going to determine if you do a single grade level, multiple grade levels, or just a select group. For example, in my first elementary position, we performed on the gym floor. We had half of the gym floor with a curtain behind us dividing that gym in half, and the parents sat up in the bleachers. Space was not a concern. I had risers, I had a stage platform, I had a xylophone area, I had a movement area. Space was amazing. In my current position, I have a stage, which is great, but that stage has walls. So I used to do 2 grade levels at a time, and it became way too crowded, especially with my 4th and 5th graders, my biggest bodies. They just did not fit well. So now I've moved down to 1 grade level at a time, which is more work for me. It's more programs, but they have more space to perform on stage. My parents are less crowded, and the parking lot is still kind of a mess. You also need to think about where you are performing. Are you performing in the gym? Do you have a stage in your school? Or is it a cafeteria? Do you have to go off campus to perform at like the local high school or a local church? Because if you are working with outside organizations, that takes a lot more coordination because now you're working with other people's schedules. Then you also need to think of schedules like when you have holidays and breaks. I would never purposely choose to do a performance the week after we get back from a holiday, even if it's just a long weekend. Nope, those 4-day weeks are just as stressful, if not more. And then you also have to work around testing schedules. You may not be allowed to do performances while there is state mandated testing going on because 1, a lot of your students are going to be busy with testing, and 2, schedules are going to be really wonky. Those are all things that are highly individualized, so I can't say what is right for you in your school, in your particular situation. I did want to talk about the whole, like, do I do daytime or evening performances debacle? Because I see this every year on Facebook. Um, there is always a big concern when we do performances, especially on the elementary level, when we do a whole grade level or multi-grade level of making it possible for kids to perform in the evening for their parents. Some schools have really good community and evening attendance where all of their students come back to perform for their parents. And in other communities, that doesn't work really, really well. And like everything, there's not one right answer. But I will say this, I like to give my students as many opportunities to perform as possible. So for me, in my situation, I do have good evening attendance. Not perfect, but pretty good. So we do evening performances for family members, siblings, and things like that, where everyone is invited to come. But I also do a dress rehearsal during the school day that morning of for the whole school. So even if I have a child that has a rehearsal or their parents cannot get them back to school in the evening, they still have that one opportunity to perform. Now, I also do allow parents and grandparents to come to the morning performance if they cannot come in the evening before. Do we get a lot of parents who do that? Not that many, probably more grandparents, maybe a dozen or so, but it gives those kids, regardless, an extra chance to perform, get the music and the performance idea under their belt, and if students cannot make it to the evening performance, they at least still have the morning. All right, the next one is the what. What kind of music program do you do? Because there are so many different types and styles of music programs. And again, you need to choose what works best for you and your school culture, your group of students, and your time and capacity. So here are just some of the styles or types of music programs you may be doing with your students. You can use a piece of children's literature or a picture book as a launching idea. You can choose to do a themed program, maybe a winter program, a spring program, a program about outer space where all the songs are about one topic. You might choose to do a semi-staged or scripted program where the students are telling a story using songs in between scenes. You might do a full canned musical, like a John Jacobson style musical, or maybe even an MTI show, which I will say this personally for me, I would not do as a full grade level unless you just have your full grade level during the school day practice the chorus songs, and then after school you have the solos and the lead characters practice their parts, personally for me. You may choose to do a folk dance night. That's what I do for third grade every year. Or maybe have a night for specific ensembles, so your Orff ensemble, choir, bucket drumming, things like that. Or maybe you choose to do an informants where you invite parents into the school building to sit in on a music class. And it is kind of a performance, but more participatory, where the parents get to join in and they can see what the kids are learning in class. And honestly, I think every program has its own merits and it has its own pros and cons. I personally have done almost all of these at some point in my career, and I liked having the flexibility to choose what I know will work best with my kids. I will say, if you are new to your building, it's really important to take stock into any particular traditions the school has done in the past with programs. I would be really hesitant to rock the boat too much in that first year. And instead, I would kind of go along with what the tradition has been for the first year or two, and then really assess what is working for your students and your building. And once you have more experience, then you can start rocking the boat a little bit and trying some new things. Now, once you've chosen what you are going to do for your program, the next step is choosing repertoire, which obviously if you are doing a canned musical, that comes with all the music already. But if you are writing the script yourself or choosing children's literature or doing a folk dance night, things like that, you are responsible for choosing that repertoire. And I usually enjoy the process of scouring my books and finding potential songs to do. And I like being able to plan the music far in advance so I can use some of those songs earlier in the year as teaching material. But the question is, where do you find repertoire? And I like to find repertoire anywhere that I can. So this is the time to dust off those old textbook series that you would never use in the classroom for teaching, but has good repertoire and accompaniment tracks. Spotlight on Music 2005 is probably one of the biggest tools that I use. This is the time to scour your ORF arrangements, the repertoire books you've collected at conferences, online curriculums that you may have, whether it's a music play online, Essential Elements, scour Music K8, and other websites like Beth's Notes and Mama Lisa. Now, how I choose repertoire for a themed or scripted program is different than what I do for children's literature. So if I'm going to create the script myself, I let the music guide my story, because to me, it's easier to write about a song than it is to find songs that I didn't write to fit a specific story that I wrote. So I will find as many songs as I can for that theme, and then I'll put them on Post-it notes and I'll kind of lay them out in different orders and kind of let those songs and those themes of the songs inspire the story or the script that I write. Whether it's just a themed or informational program about a certain topic, or if it's a story that I'm going to try to write. Now, for children's literature, that text is already written for me. So instead, I'll go through the book first, and then as I find natural cadences or where a certain theme ends, then I'll add a Post-it note. So for example, I've done Earth Dance before, and I'm potentially maybe doing it again this year. So I already went through and I added some Post-it notes. Now, if I did this for the first time, again, because I've already done this once before, I would go in with Post-it notes, and on the Post-it note, I would write the general theme of those previous couple pages. And then as I'm going through all my repertoire, anytime I find a song that fits one of those themes, I would write it down on those Post-it notes. Now, I could take one song and maybe, depending on the song, I can put it on multiple Post-it notes, or I could have more Post-it notes than I really need. But once I have scoured through all my resources, then I can start to filter through and say, you know what, I have this song in 2 different places, but now that I see what else I have, I think I can choose this song here, and then I can move this song over here. But having it written down on Post-it notes, like here, right in the book, has been really, really helpful. All right, the second part of the how is planning all the backstage logistics. To me, lesson planning during music program season is pretty easy. I have that set list of 8 or 9 songs that they are learning. That's what we're going to rehearse. But it's all the logistics and things that happen outside of the classroom that can be really stressful during this time of year. Parent communication, teacher communication, creating the program handout, creating the riser order, ordering the risers if you need to, checking AV equipment to make sure everything works. It can be a lot, and most of these tasks can't be handed off to parent volunteers. And it never feels good when you drop a ball and forget to take care of something that needs to be taken care of. And my poor ADHD brain can really struggle with all these little tiny tasks that need to happen. So for myself and for you guys, I created a music teacher checklist that I literally will print off and I will tape on my wall right by my computer so I see it every day. There are 2 sides to this. You can print it front and back like this, or you can print off 2 copies or 2 pages. One side has kind of like the planning stage where I can write down my songs. I can write down what instruments I need to get, any props that I need to order or find, technology needs, how many microphones do I need? Do I need any extra cables or speakers? People that I might need to contact, whether it's parent volunteers, teachers, or people outside of the building, and any other notes that I might need to write down. And then on the front side or back side, whatever, I have a checklist of what needs to happen during the planning stage. 3 months before, 2 months, 1 month, the week before, and the day of. And I literally will come in and I will take a glance at this and see where I am, because if I don't see it in front of me of what needs to happen, it's not going to happen. So this is just a really good reminder for me. And if you would like your own free copy, I will add the link down below. Now, if this sounds all fine and dandy, but planning music programs still gives you a bit of anxiety, I completely get it. So to help, I've taken about a dozen of my favorite programs that I have done with my own students, and I've turned them into resources available to help teachers put on their own programs. These are not quite canned music programs because I pull my songs from a variety of sources, but think of them more as inspirational packages. I have about 9 different children's books that I have turned into programs, as well as a handful of themed and scripted programs that you can find on TPT. Each program comes with a production guide that shows you what songs I used, where I found them, and also includes alternative song ideas if you need options. In the production guide, I also give you any information I can think of in terms of movement, choreography, instruments, decor, etc. And I also include an editable lyrics slideshow to help you as you are teaching songs. And again, if you choose a different song than what I do, you can write in your own lyrics, and that's totally fine. I also include scripts for both the teachers and students. Though I will say, obviously, if my script is based on a piece of children's literature, I do not include the whole text due to copyright reasons, but you can finish it yourself and you can see where I've divided out the parts. I also have editable program handouts to give on the day of the program, where you can write in your own songs, put in teacher names, give thanks, and you can make that program handout your own. And lastly, anytime I have an original orphan arrangement that I did with my students, I put that full resource, the score, and all the digital and printable handouts into that bundle, which is honestly a deal in itself. So I hope this video was really helpful for you. You can grab my freebie down below, or if you want to check out my resource packs for different music programs that I've done, you can click on the link to my TPT store. I will link it directly to the music programs. And as always, happy musicking.